We will start today with a presentation by Claudia X. Valdes and Phillip Thurtle from USA, who will give us a very interesting context of the popular culture and how popular culture treated its first early monsters in the 50s that were basically monsters of the post-nuclear age.
We grew up in an era of nuclear fear and nuclear promise. On one hand, specters of mushroom clouds, the blinding white light of an explosive flash, and civil defense drills haunted the psyche of the late 20th century. On the other hand, politicians and scientists promised the benefits of the peaceful atom, where atomic power could be safely harnessed and new imaging techniques would stimulate biomedical research. Humans had found a way to tap into the awesome power of the atom. Anything seemed possible, except to continue as we once had. It was widely accepted that atomic radiation could damage chromosomes, which comprise the scaffolding for and tissue of the genes. But it wasn't until the 1950s that many in the medical field came to accept the role of mutation in some diseases. Many scientists looked upon mutation as a risky promise, much like atomic power itself. Mutagens disrupt genetic expectations. As such, they point to an understanding of the ways that our bodies realize unforeseen futures through the exploration of chemical combinations, a source of chemical affect, if you will, where the domains of the mutation itself is dependent upon the effective abilities of those chemicals. Our hope is that bioart can act as a mutagen and open up new ways of conceiving of ethical engagements, new categories for decision-making, and new futures for inhabiting the world. The mutation that T.H. Morgan had identified was a discrete change of a single physiological character, changes in eye color or wing shape, for instance. De Vries, on the other hand, had been looking at much larger changes in plant morphology, most likely the result of an act of hybridization of two different species. The mutations that Morgan identified allowed him to create maps of relative distances between specific genes. These were known as linkage maps. In 1909, the Danish botanist Wilhelm Johansen introduced the phenotype-genotype distinction. According to Johansen, organisms displayed variants from two different types of sources. The variants due to the interaction of an organism with its environment were due to variants in its phenotype.
With the introduction of atomic power as a tool of war and with its remaking into a tool for research in the life sciences, mutations became part of the cultural and physiological landscape of the 20th century. In fact, throughout the mid-century, a significant quantity of books, movies, and comic books were produced, which imaginatively explored the transformative power of atomic radiation through mutation. Nuclear science fiction movies, over 500 of which were produced between 1948 and 1962, such as Them, Monster from the Ocean Floor, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, Earth vs. the Spider, War of the Colossal Beast, It Came from Beneath the Sea, and Attack of the Crab Monsters, explore the biological ramifications and thus the ethical implications of the bomb and exposure to radioactive fallout. To the Silver Age heroes Spiderman, who gains spider-like powers when he is bit by a radioactive spider, the Incredible Hulk, a large green monster who is the Mr. Hyde of nuclear scientist Bruce Banner's Dr. Jekyll, the Tissue Culture and Alt project by Owen Katz and Ayaan Zur developed semi-living beings by employing tissue engineering and stem cell technologies. The array of tissue-engineered projects include extra ear 1/4 scale, victimless leather, disembodied cuisine. Katz and Zur aim to evoke and provoke discourse about bioethics and the implications of bioscience upon our collective future. Most recently, in NOARC, TCNA cultivated living mass comprised of cells from various different organisms. Quote, it contains a chimeral blob made out of modified living fragments of different organisms which are living together in a techno-scientific body, end quote. Rather, it is about inhabiting the world in a way that lessens the suffering of others, and this will always involve inhabiting the world in a way that maintains a universe alive with potential. The imperative is to use all of our faculties to deepen our search for a moral way to the universe. There is more to morally inhabiting the world than making ethical choices. If bioartists see themselves as engaged in ethical debates, then they have already lost the political battle over our biological future. An effective biopolitics isn't just about having an opinion or taking an action, it is also about generating new possibilities for change. These possibilities literally make the world larger, more creative, and less oppressive for those who inherit it. Thank you.